Good Saturday morning, everybody. Chris Allen here on this November the 12th. It is a Saturday, and the Sam channel here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. And it's all brought to you by Ace Hardware Marketplace, by the way. But we've got some wintry stuff going on this morning. Some of you have already picked up a few snowflakes. We're getting reports. I was just looking at a report here just a minute ago from the Paducah National Weather Service chat room. They're reporting some 1-inch snowfall amounts. Now, it's going to be heavier back there, but here's the conundrum, if I may use a $5 word that sounds very country. Conundrum. It's a weird setup because we've got some frozen precipitation falling across the area as expected, but the ground temperatures are like in the 50s, which means if something does fall, it is likely not to stick or stay there for a while. But we're seeing elevated surfaces, and what I mean by that is anything above ground like grass or your car or your patio furniture or whatever, it's getting some snow on it. Even though the temperatures aren't really cold enough yet, at the surface, there's enough what we call latent cooling. There's another $5 word. In other words, there is a loss of heat in every little drop or snowflake of rain that falls that makes it cool enough to hold something like a snowflake together briefly. I don't think this is going to cause any kind of travel issues or anything like that, but it is progressively getting colder this morning. Let me first show you the radar, and it's nice and colorful this morning. We haven't seen this in a long time. You have to go all the way back to the spring to find something this colorful as far as the radar is concerned. Of course, all the colors mean something. The green, of course, is rain. But back here, just west of Bowling Green now, we're starting to pick up, or at least the radar algorithms, the way it mathematically tries to delineate between rain drops and ice particles and snow. You see it there that the change is taking place, and we're starting to get a few reports of like little ice pellets mixing in with the rain. And then back to the west of that, places like Evansville, Paducah certainly, and then back toward Carbondale, Illinois, Cape Girardeau, Mount Vernon, Illinois, Vincennes, Indiana, they're all reporting snow. And as I mentioned, some of those places have already picked up an inch of snow on the elevated surfaces. Now, it may stay there as long as it snows. There's enough evaporative cooling to keep it falling. But then eventually, once this is over, it's all going to melt away, even today, and even without sunshine. So let me just put it this way. You're going to get rain mostly. Streets and roadways are going to be wet mostly. I don't think we're going to see icy spots except for maybe someplace that hasn't been traveled on a bridge or overpass. Maybe. Tonight, some of this will freeze over and maybe cause an icy spot. But as far as accumulating, even if you happen to see accumulating snow this morning, it is not going to last. So if you have somewhere to go, you've got something to do. If you live around the Bowling Green, Southern Kentucky area or down into Tennessee, you're fine. I don't think it's going to be enough to cause any issue, nor did we think that even from the beginning. So I would just use caution. If you need to go somewhere today, you're fine. It's just going to be wet. Use the normal caution that you would use in wet weather, okay? But the transition is happening now. The coldest air is moving in as temperatures continue to fall. And over the next few days, it's just going to stay cold. Let me show you the 10-day blend up front, just to prove to you that I've been talking about for over a week is now here. It's here. Look at this. You know what's absent from this 10-day trend here that we normally look at every morning? There's no warm air. None. Look at that. Barely hitting 40 today. I think most of us will stay in the upper 30s. Dipping into the 20s, below freezing tonight for sure. And then the next few days, highs in the 40s. There's going to be a couple of days like Monday and Tuesday, we get above freezing. Well, I mean, we get above 50 maybe. But then after that, another shot of colder air, 40s. Then look, there's only a couple of nights when we hit 30 or above. And that's going to be Monday night and Tuesday night. Everything else is in the 20s. Ouch. And the pattern still looks like it's going to stay this way all the way through Thanksgiving, Black Friday, final week of November, even into early December, could be longer. There may be days when we start to get a little bit of a warm up, but the pattern is we're going to stay cold. Okay, now to the specifics. Here comes the cold air. If it hasn't arrived at your house yet, it's about to. Look at this colorful map from the Kentucky Mesonet Network. These are current temperatures as of 6:20 on Saturday morning when I'm doing this updated forecast and podcast. Look at the eastern part of the state is in the 40s and 50s, 30s and 40s in the middle, now 20s and 30s to the west. That's where it's snowing. And we're getting reports, as I mentioned, right along the Ohio River in western Kentucky. They're getting reports of snow coming down pretty good, covering the grassy areas, but the roadways are still fine. And some reports of about an inch of snow back here into far western Kentucky, including Paducah. So eventually, this is that coldest air that we've been advertising now moving across from west to east across Kentucky. We did have some really impressive rainfall amounts last 24 hours. We picked up another half inch or more here in Bowling Green, lesser amounts to the west, but look at all this out east of us. This was nice to get. We received a total of 1 inch officially, exactly 1 inch of rain yesterday for the Bowling Green official record keeping as far as measuring rainfall. And now we've added to it another half inch or more. And then look at this. The eastern part of the central and eastern parts of Kentucky really benefited from the rains, over an inch, almost an inch and a half in a couple of places. Really impressive rainfall past 24 hours. So we needed that. It's not going to be a drought buster. That just takes our deficit now from about 6.5 inches below normal as far as lack of rainfall year to date to about 5.5. So we're still in a drought despite all that rain that we had over the past 24 hours. I can tell you right now, this is going to go long today because I got a lot to talk about. So here we go with temperatures. There's a lot going on here. Here's a look at the future temperatures. Here's the right now. The transition I just showed you with the Kentucky Mesonet Network from west to east. Pikeville starting out in the 50s. We were there early this morning. Now we're seeing 30s. And to the west of us, look at Carbondale, Illinois, dropping already into the 20s. So let me put this into motion. How warm are we going to get today? Maybe you should say, how cold are we going to get today? That would be the more proper thing. There you go. That's it for the high temperatures today. Upper 30s. Add to that a northwest wind at 10 to 15, maybe an occasional breeze to 20 miles per hour. It's going to make it feel like it's in the 20s instead of the 30s. You need to dress in layers today. Like I've got as I mentioned, my grandson Caleb, his championship football game, Pee Wee football, taking place today, later this morning. I'm going to dress in layers and really make sure I cover my head. I don't care how frumpy I'm going to look. I'm covering my ears, especially because I have inner ear trouble. And when that cold wind hits my ears, I get all kinds of sinus issues. So I'm covering up. I don't like to because I get hot, even in the winter. But I'm going to dress in layers today and keep my ears blocked so I don't have to deal with that awful mess. That there's a lot of it going around. So you should do the same thing today if you have to be out. Go ahead and go. The weather's going to be blustery, but the streets and roads are going to be fine. Nothing to worry about. Now, tonight, we are going to drop into the mid-20s. There you go. Everybody, no exceptions. Everybody's going to be in the 20s tonight, below freezing. Whatever the wind doesn't dry up today is going to freeze over tonight. So there may be a few isolated icy spots. And I mean, just kind of here and there, a bridge or overpass or someplace is going to be a touch icy. Not overall, just here and there. Then we go into Sunday. We do moderate just a twinge, closer to 40, but that's it. Everybody else, upper 30s. And we're going to, this is going to be a continual pattern. None of this is going to change anytime soon. Just go ahead and make plans to keep the fires burning at home. In your fire pits and your fireplaces and all that, keep the heat up as much as you can because it's going to get bone chilling cold. There's no exception to the rule with this pattern that we're in. All right. Here we go into future radar. Most of the precipitation that we're going to see is this morning through at least midday for many of you. Most of it is happening right now. That's the good news. This is not going to linger all day. Most of it is going to come this morning and then move out. So here it is right now. This is exactly what we were seeing on the radar just a few minutes ago. Notice how it just moves on. Here we go into late morning. This is about 9, 10 o'clock. Notice here's what I want to show you. Notice this is a little bit of a different view like I showed you yesterday where you see the red line and you see the blue lines. These are what we call heights in the atmosphere, okay? So when you start to see the 540 line, the 540 height is normally where the coldest air or the freezing line happens. There's a big explanation why it's put 540, but I won't go into all that. These are the warmer areas where you see the rain, which is what we're seeing right now. There is the blue, which is the snow. Purple is the mix, purples and reds. Okay? So here comes that 32-degree line, which really is not that far away from us. But that's where the coldest air comes in this afternoon. I still think we're going to stay cloudy with an occasional flurry or sprinkle or something this afternoon into early this evening before skies gradually clear. And notice that 540 line, or the area that marks 32 degrees, is going to stay close to us for a while. We do warm up a little bit tomorrow. Notice it goes to the warmer 546. So that means we're going to get above freezing, yes, but not by much as we get into the day Sunday. So after what we see this morning and what we're seeing right now goes away, then we're done until Monday night into Tuesday. And then we may have to deal with this once again. Monday night into Tuesday. Let me show you that on the maps. All right. Just bear with me a little bit longer here. I know I'm going over time, but there's just too much to talk about. So, well, we've got no time limit. I'm just saying I try not to make it so long to where you sit here and go, oh, okay, just get to it. I've gotten to it. This is it. This is it. Let me show you the maps. Here we are, current situation, flow coming up out of the Atlantic off of what was Nicole, which is now a nor'easter in the New England states. It's pumping in the moisture here our direction. And then with the cold air arriving, this is where we get the transition from rain over to freezing rain, maybe a little sleet. Not really so much freezing rain, more sleet, and then snow. So here's mid-afternoon. Here is this evening. Here is early Sunday morning. Notice everything is pretty much out except for far eastern Kentucky. There may be just in the higher elevation still some leftover snow showers. So Sunday midday, Sunday afternoon, high pressure dominating here. Here comes the next system trying to get organized in the Rockies and in the plains for Monday. Then it drops southward, picks up some Gulf of Mexico moisture. There are places like Oklahoma, northern Texas, even New Mexico going to pick up on kind of winter storm type situations there. Here we go into Monday night into Tuesday. Now, we get a shortwave trough or disturbance extending from that low in the Gulf that's going to send the moisture northward into southern Kentucky. We're going to be on that fine line between rain or liquid precipitation and frozen precipitation. So we're going to go with mostly rain in the Bowling Green area Monday night into Tuesday morning, but there may be a brief period, as you see here, of a winter mix possible. Then it's all snow pretty much in the Great Lakes and the upper Ohio Valley. But it's a quick mover. It's going to be out by Wednesday morning into Thursday next week. Friday, here comes another system that we'll watch for the end of next week. Right now, not going to try to go there to see what's happening, but it's evident a cold front with another big shot of Arctic air is going to come in back behind that. So if we're cold enough, you know what's going to happen there. All right. I've gone almost 20 minutes. I hope I got everything in this morning. Again, it's going to be a breezy, chilly, raw day to be outside. But I don't see any travel hazards or impacts from anything falling this morning as far as snow or even little ice pellets or sleet. The rain, of course, rained over streets is hazardous enough, but I don't foresee any travel issues at all around here. Now, back toward Evansville, Owensboro, Mount Vernon, Paducah, into southern Illinois, maybe. There may be some untraveled or less traveled roads that have a little bit of an issue, especially on bridges and overpasses, but otherwise around here is just going to be wet. Even if you get snow in the grassy areas and on your vehicle, I don't think the roadways are going to be quite cold enough to cause problems, but still use caution. Now, tonight, when it does get into the 20s, then we could have some issues late tonight, early tomorrow morning. But I'll be back here tomorrow morning, same time, same Sam channel, to update everything for you. All right? Got it all in under 20 minutes. I can never go that long on television. Anyway, you guys have a great day. God bless you. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you right back here tomorrow morning.